Mayor Lucan, we wanted to take just a moment before you officially open the 100-year-old Bicentennial box to make a presentation to you. Several months ago, we had a limited edition watercolor print commissioned by our firm of the building that our firm started back in 1888, and that is indeed Cincinnati City Hall. It was done by local artist Tom Gaither. We'd like to present it to you with pride from our company and hope you find an appropriate wall for it in your City Hall office. And
thank you, Greg. I will put that. Thank you very much.
Beautiful.
Isn't that really? You get everything, I'll tell you that. Alice Cornell, if you would come up here just a second, I would like to introduce you. Alice is with the UC Archives Department and is here to help remove the contents and make sure that they are protected, and you brought along Jenny. And you better tell Jenny, or say Jenny's last name.
Wazinski.
Jenny Wazinski, and we welcome both of you here. And of course, I see you brought special boxes and crates and everything else because we're really at that point. They have taped the edges. Ladies, come on back here with me.
I'll tell you what, let's all get behind here.
Because
this is a significant moment in Cincinnati history. 200 years ago, they weren't thinking about this.
Not this?
Yeah, the box? No. Okay. Not even 100. 100 years they were. Ladies and gentlemen, the mayor of the city of Cincinnati, Charlie Lucan, will now open the time capsule from 1888.
See what we got, Jerry? Oh, my goodness.
wow.
I don't know what it is, but
It says Board of City Hall
Okay.
Trustees. Robert Allison was the chairman. Charles Miller, James McGlynn.
Can we hold it up?
Tom Paxton.
I tell you what, we are going to lift this up and
we
let
do
the
that?
people of Cincinnati take a look. This is the plaque.
All right, let's get it right here on this camera.
What's the
right
best
here.
shot we have? There you go.
Probably just tilt it down so we don't get the flare off of it.
dedication plaque.
Dedication.
It is the
plaque.
dedication plaque. Board City Hall Trustees, Chairman Robert Allison, Charles A. Miller, James M. Glenn, Thomas B. Paxton, William Stewart, the clerk, John B. Washburn, superintendent. There you go. And there are a whole bunch of other names there, including Hummel Industries. And what does this say? Manufactured by the F.C. Deckerback Sons, 1888, Cincinnati, Ohio. If you ever want to bury something for 100 years, give this company a call. They know what they're doing.
I really don't know where to start with this. It's just
We need to be as
chock full of
delicate,
things.
obviously, as possible. Alice, or we need to have our
Alice is
expert
gonna help
here.
me with this, and I can't even identify
Well,
a lot
that's-
of what is in here. I'm going to...
That looks like something from the Cincinnati Reds, and I'm not Charles Greeley, and I mean, it really does. It looks like two of the players. August 16th, 1888. Now, what would I?
Let's distribute some of this to the our experts.
I want to know
here.
which one to drop this off to. I don't want to take it to the.
Actually, it's all in pretty good shape.
You know what? It is. The question is, would today's newspapers last so long? This is, let's have an organized way of saying what's in it. Charlie, what's that?
Well, it says on the outside, Board of Education, Cincinnati, Ohio. I'm being kind of delicate with it, Jerry, because it feels like it's about ready to fall apart, but maybe one of our experts can help us with some of these things.
Okay, let's distribute these here.
Let's take
Any
it over here,
comments you want?
Jerry.
This isn't coins. Why
Jerry,
don't we
this
take
is
this
the
over here?
historians over here. Let's
Okay.
make sure that
Who gets the newspapers?
Jerry,
we
this
see
is,
this.
this
and-
thing is literally chock full of documents, and we're going to try to get through it and try to get to the
Okay.
bottom of it and get it sorted out.
Yeah, I tell you what, in the interest of time, we are now going to lift out. We have a lot of newspapers here. We will tell you what they are in a moment. Here's something from the West End Republican Club. I hereby agree to become a member of the West End Republican Club and further agree to pay the above initiation fee. $2, you can be a Republican. Democrats was $1.98. It's a bargain. Okay.
Jerry,
Well,
let's
here,
go over
Ted,
here
you're
to-
the politician. You look at that.
Let's go over here to Dan. Ranzoff has looked at this scarf. What do you have?
This is an old bandana that was thrown in here by Vincent Schwab. If any of you know Nelson, this is his great-great-uncle, and it's the son of Matthias Schwab, who built organs for the churches in over the Rhine in northern Kentucky. In any event, he threw in this bandana with Cleveland, and I assume his vice presidential candidate. But this was a bandana thrown in the box at the last minute by Vincent Schwab.
All right.
Here is an annual report of the police department. Some of you would like to see that, Ted. Some relatives you want to talk about? What's up?
I want to compare the budgets.
He hasn't left City Hall, huh?
Today we
Are there
have
any
a police
coins here?
department that spends $40 million a year.
This is great. So far,
Jerry, this is not Christmas.
yeah. Here's a
Alice, just jump in here and slap their hands anytime you want to. They're digging in here.
This guy puts his card in there. P.J. Mullen and Company, contractors for wrecking in old buildings. This is great.
This is the city directory from 1988. 1888. It's 1988, this is fixed, but, well, I don't know, your name's not here. This is a list of all the companies and citizens of the city of Cincinnati from that time.
Let's take this over to Dan here, who is our historian. If you can find some coins, are there any coins in
Where do
there?
you want to go to next?
Not that we found any coins, but we did have a scroll, and also, what was this?
Well, the Lincoln Club was the forerunner of the Republican Club, and you'll know a lot of these people like Halstead, Dixon, Voigt. These are old Cincinnati families. Butterworth. I bet a lot of their grandchildren are listening in. Heron was a patent attorney. Staley was a mover. I'm giving it from memory. Hickenlooper was a banker, among other things. Wilson was Baldwin Piana. It's like it was written yesterday. Hinkle, Vogel, Storr, Kessler. If anybody's in the audience, raise your hand. Maxwell up in Avondale. Again, Voigt. Murat Halstead was the editor of the Commercial, later the Inquirer. So Gannot, his father was one of the first settlers here.
Okay.
Muir, and so forth.
All right, thank you, Dan.
Here's an Indian head penny,
These coins over
1887.
Okay, we're going to go to the coin, but while you're looking at these coins for 1 second, this is so far my favorite. Here's the note. It's from, "Sorry, I cannot be present when this box is opened. Milo Dodds." Is there a relative of Milo Dodds here? Was Milo wrong? Is Milo here? Milo, wherever you are, thanks for thinking of us.
Maybe we can go over to the coins real quick.
Okay, what do we have with the coins?
Well, so far I see some colonial pieces from 1788. Apparently there was a significance of 100 years coinage being deposited in this box. And we have a piece from Massachusetts, one from Connecticut, one from New Jersey. And this piece I need to study more. We have quite a few coins here.
Any silver?
Here's a silver $50 from 1877. This is a piece of fractional currency, which is a 25-cent note that was issued by the government because coinage and metallic material was difficult to come by. And there's a 5-cent, a 10-cent, and a 25-cent from Mr. Brasher.
Okay, from August 12, 1888, obviously we have a strong German heritage in our community, and here is a Cincinnati German newspaper. As I said, August 12, 1888, the Cincinnati Free Press.
This is also, we have some over here, a London Court Stationery. And we have a small box. I would venture to, ooh, what a coin that is. I think that says 1850 on it. I won't touch too much of it. The Exposition National Suisse, Zurich in 1883. I think we better get those in the hands of the people who know what to do.
Here is a manual from the Cincinnati Police Department. Their rules and regulations of 100 years ago. Here's something Steve Shabbat may want to reconsider. Ordered that the practice of charging 50 cents to prisoners taken to the station house by the patrol service be discontinued. So prisoners can now stay free at the workhouse. We don't charge them anymore. Nice deal. Pardon?
Another police report?
Yes, what do you have there?
I have one here, the annual report for 1888,
1850.
showing that there was 443
Swiss.
civilian and police officers as compared with our police force today of 904, with a $40 million budget, 94% of it going for payroll.
Okay, we got the Mcguffey Reader over here. Laura Chase's eyes just lit up when I handed her these little dolls.
They're in beautiful condition. They're Mcguffey's first and second readers. Mcguffey first published these in 1838, and they were published until the turn of the century, the 20th century. There were 122 million of these readers issued, and they were used in schools in 37 states in the United States. These are in excellent condition. It's just wonderful.
It was worth the wait, wasn't it? I tell you, this is exciting. I was hoping there'd be some real money in here. We got real money in here?
What we have so far are coins, newspapers,
This will be the
and
last
books.
time you do this, Mayor. You've gotten in trouble 3 times for ripping those envelopes. Yeah, see?
This is a silver coin from 1818 for deposit in City Hall. I'll just keep that. Take care of it for you. We'll take it over there.
Let's review again where all this is going to be so the public can get a chance to see.
Alice,
Where are we
you
going to
will
hold
have it
this?
first, won't you?
Yeah, we're going to take it up to the rare book room in Legan Library at the University of Cincinnati, and then bit by bit, Jenny's going to work with it, and I'll work with the folks on exhibits.
For how long will you have it, Jenny?
Well, it's hard to tell. Actually, everything's in very good condition, and I think perhaps by humidifying and flattening, that's about all we'll really have to do.
Oh, all the technical stuff, and of course then it will be at Fifth Third for a little while. So here's a...
We have here $1,000, we finally hit the big time, big money now. $1,000 bond drawn on the city of Cincinnati. What's it worth today?
Nothing. No, I think it's probably, if matured, it's worth $1 million. Fortunately, we own it, which
Clem, is
means
this any
we
good?
won't have to pay it, I guess. But that's what it looks like. It's a $1,000 bond drawn on the city of Cincinnati, apparently for the fire department, the fire bond from that period.
Fire equipment?
You don't deal in those bonds?
What is this? Okay, what you can see is happening now.
How
What
would
we
you
have
like
here,
this?
Principal payable?
what we have is a box full of coins, newspapers,
Payable on 19.
administrative codes, coins, and since we don't know what is in there, only now can we start to take a look at it to figure out if anything is significant or if somebody had a practical joke like Milo Dodds and said he couldn't be with us. Just on the chance that, is there anybody here near 100 years old in our audience? We won't tell your exact age, but is there anybody that could tell us a little bit about the particular time period we're talking about? There's a man waving his hand. You're not 100. If you're lucky, you'll make it to 25. Okay, no, we have a very young audience, and I knew no one would admit to that, but maybe there was someone in their 80s or 90s who could tell us a little bit about the time period of the materials we're picking out.
Alice is having a little trouble. This paper is tearing just like you would expect 100-year-old paper to tear. It's a very, very looking, leather-bound book, I would say, from this guess. The Registered Electors
Of Cincinnati, November 1887.
Dan's holding up his hand.
Dan, what do you have there?
Jerry, I've got a city directory of 1887. What I'd like to emphasize, if I may very quickly, everybody in the audience can share a lot of this stuff. You can go to the public library or the Historical Society and get these identical books if you want to look for relatives. For instance, in this city directory, and the very same book, not in as good condition, is over at the Historical Society and the Public Library. It has fraternal organizations, names. For instance, Laura Chase's grandfather lived on Lynn Street, and I noticed that my grandfather lived on Walnut Street. So you can all enjoy these things if you go to the library or the Historical Society, get the book out, and look up your relatives.
Jerry?
Okay, I tell you what, we're going to take a short break just to catch our breath, figure out what we see in here. Maybe there's something more valuable than we know. We'll be back in a moment.
with your hosts Jerry Springer and Johnny Bench.
Well, I got to tell you, you know, if some nights it doesn't look like we're real coherent what we're talking about, here's the explanation. In the time capsule is from Charles Mayer, a restaurant and beer hall, and the location is 9th and Elm, which is the Channel 5 studios. We used to be a restaurant and beer hall.
Well, Jerry, why don't we real quick while we have time, I'd like to have a sort of an idea. First of all, Alice, Jenny, real quickly, and then we'll go to the experts, their opinion of what was in the box and how satisfied or disappointed you are.
Oh, well, the condition of the materials that's in the box is really remarkable. We're very pleased. We had hoped that it wouldn't be bad, and we're real pleased to see the condition that it is in. I don't think we're really surprised as to the nature of the contents, but it's still fun to see it.
Laura, how about you, Miss Chase? Happy with it?
I'm expected to find issues of the daily papers, and indeed they're here. But interestingly, there are some wonderful issues from the suburbs. I have a transcript from Cumminsville. I noticed on the table there's a paper called The Southwest. It's Mill Creek Valley. And there's also an issue of a newspaper from Harrison, Ohio.
Well,
that surprised me.
They may have been big cities in those days, as big as Lasannaville or Cincinnati. Dan, how about you?
This is a brilliant collection of material, particularly the mayor's message of the problems they had then, like cholera, the plague, and the consumption. Things that we've licked that show that we can do anything. But also has the police department, the wharf department, the fire department, the Institute of Markets, the university property. Everything is in all these books, and it's a brilliant collection of material.
Jerry?
Yeah, we also have here, and I'm just seeing, we have the August 15th edition of the Times-Star newspaper, and on the very front page, about a quarter of the page is an ad from Mabley and Carew. So some of they're lasting longer than current stores. Ted, what do you have?
Mabley and Crew used to be at 5th and Vine.
It says here, 5th and Vine. You don't remember its opening, do you? Go ahead.
Yeah.
What did you find?
The thing that interested me, there was an L&N timetable in the newspapers that announced what had been put in to the box. No mention was made of the fact that the city of Cincinnati had completed its own railroad, the Cincinnati Southern Railway, in 1880, and had been operating successfully, paying the net rents to the city of Cincinnati for 8 years up to that point, and no mention was made of it. There was nothing in there about the elaborate industrial exhibit running for 100 days in 1888. It was the last time that they had an industrial exhibit at Music Hall, which began in 1879.
Okay, thanks, Ted. And how are we doing with coins? Give an overall impression of the kind of coins that they left in that box.
The coins are extremely interesting. There's about 25 pieces, and most of the pieces are circulated coins that people put in probably out of their pockets or things that they had had for a number of years. There are 3 coins in particular which are quite valuable, and there's an 1888 Indian head cent, an 1888 3-cent piece, and an 1888 5-cent piece, which are in proof condition and which were ordered directly from the mint, possibly for this purpose. There were only 4,500 pieces struck, and these coins are in magnificent condition, and they've survived well, and they're quite valuable. I think that's the most interesting thing.
Okay.
An envelope that I just opened has this postal currency was circulated during the war and presented to the Board of Trustees. Maybe you'd like to go over some of the small currency. Look how, and notice how small the bills are, Jerry.
I know.
How big the bills are today.
Yeah, not an increase in value. Just
who's going to get these coins?
I'm sorry, Ted?
Who's going to get these coins?
they're going to go on display, right? Nobody walks out of here with the coins, all right?
They will go on display, and then probably one of them will go back into the box. I would think that you would want to send something back for another 100 years. That's my suggestion. I'll write it in.
It's amazing how many lawyers left their cards here. Here's one from Stan Chesley. Stan, appreciate the humor. Okay, what's your reaction to this, Mayor?
I think it's going to take a long time to sort some of this out, Jerry, but I think people are going to learn a great deal about the way things were when we get through it all. As you can see, there's a lot of printed material. It's going to give the historians a lot of things to do over the next few weeks and months.
And something to think about, the world probably has changed more in the 100 years since this time capsule was buried under City Hall than it did in the 1800 years preceding that period. I mean, at the time that this box was buried, who could have thought of automobiles, airplanes, cars, the technology we have today, television, radio, any of that? So we're talking about probably the last time a time capsule will be from such a different kind of period. I suspect in another 100 years, whatever we put in our time capsule, a lot of people are going to be able to see just by punching up on their computer what's in the library, what the newspapers held for the day. So we're really saying almost an end to an era of where history is preserved in time capsules rather than in our computers.
Sort of like the Jetsons is what you're trying to say.
There you go.
Yes.
In fact, okay, we're going to be back in just a moment with our closing ceremonies.
Well, the Cincinnati Enquirer is here. It costs 5 cents, and the Evening Post cost a penny.
Some things don't change and some do. And the stories are different, and that's the good news. We want to, of course, thank everybody for being here with us today. Let me first tell you that what we have now opened, and obviously are looking at for the first time with any degree of certainty at what it is going to be on display for the next couple of weeks in the lobby of Fifth Third Bank, and we certainly want to thank Fifth Third for being a part of it.
And they also have plans to take that around for the different children of the area to be able to see as well once they get it organized.
So that way everyone can see what we saw tonight, right up here.
Yes, and of course the great contributions made by Kroger and Fifth Third tonight, our great experts who joined us.
I want to thank all of you for being with us, for helping us through the maze of what we found in that box.
Waited 100 years for this.
Now, we also want to close the bicentennial year by now going to the chairman of the Bicentennial Commission and the mayor of the city of Cincinnati, Joe Stern and Charlie Lucan.
Thank you, Jerry. Thank you. I can't believe it, Joe, but the year is coming to an end. It seems like just a few hours ago at the countdown we kicked off our bicentennial celebration, and from countdowns to all-star games to fireworks and tall stacks, it's been a great, great year for the city of Cincinnati. In fact, Joe, I don't think we'll ever have a year in our history that will be as exciting as this one. But I know you feel, as I do, that 1988 ought to just be the beginning, and we ought to figure out a way to keep the excitement and fun going in the city of Cincinnati. That's something I'm going to be working on, and I hope that you'll join me. But, ladies and gentlemen, this fella has done a great, great job for the city of Cincinnati because he sort of oversaw the whole bicentennial celebration, and his name is Joe Stern.
Thank you. Thank you, Charlie. I guess I've been sort of the head dog catcher for 6 years. I think now in this bicentennial capsule, the new one, I'll be here. Here's one, the Flying Pig. That'll be in the next time capsule. Well, 6 years ago, the council, then Mayor Dave Mann, appointed a bicentennial commission, and we have been the subjects of Charlie Lucan and the council all those years. They gave us a mandate. They said 3 things: leave something permanent for the citizens when this is all over, and we did that with Bicentennial Commons at Sawyer Point. How many have been down there? Everybody. Second thing, they said, have a year with appropriate celebrations of events that will make everybody in Cincinnati proud of their community, and everybody in this room knows that much better than I do. Thirdly, they said, involve as many citizens as possible. Well, here we are, Charlie, Mr. Mayor. We're the citizens. There were 6,000 volunteers who worked all through the 6 years, and especially this last year. And speaking for my fellow commissioners, I want to thank them tremendously for everything they've done. Power to the people. Now, the mayor mentioned very briefly, what are we going to do for the future? I had a clue to that. I'll conclude with this that happened at the tall stacks. A fella came up to me from Lorain, Ohio. He said, I've never been in Cincinnati, Ohio. He says, it's beautiful. I love it. He said, the hills, the river, it's exciting. He said, I'm going to move from Lorain, Ohio. I'm going to come down to Cincinnati and open a business here. And that is the essence of what all of us have been trying to do these past years. So happy birthday, Greater Cincinnati. Happy birthday for the future. God bless us all. Thank you.
And thank you, Mayor. Cincinnati enjoys a proud, fine heritage, and Channel 5 has been proud to be a part of that heritage. What I'd like to do now is show you a little bit to take you back to a trip in time of Cincinnati, its finest years. You got that. Ladies and gentlemen, first of all, let me ask everybody to break these that are here in the audience. See, they'll light up. Ah, the magic of science. They didn't have these 200 years ago. Let me take this opportunity first to thank our experts for helping us with those things which were in the time capsule, decipher them, tell us what's it all about. Then let me thank you, Toria, and let me thank you, Johnny.
Thank you. How about the moments in time? Makes you proud to be a part of Cincinnati, doesn't it?
It does. Let us all thank all of you who came down tonight and all you people at home in Cincinnati for giving us this wonderful opportunity to live and work in the greatest city in the world, Cincinnati, Ohio. Please join the students from the School of the Creative and Performing Arts, only in Cincinnati, Ohio, such a great school, in singing to Cincinnati, Ohio, Happy Birthday, Maestro. Am I to start this? Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Cincinnati. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. I say happy birthday, Cincinnati. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Cincinnati! Good night, everybody. God bless you. Another 200 years, at least.